Bam. Let's kick this off. So, on the left side, rename Moomin. We got Moomin with double purity Flame Dawn and single purity Veror. On the right side, we got Prozac with a triple purity deck. Kind of looks like AoE. Single purity DoD, single purity Exiles, and single purity Veror. Whoa there. Calm down. What? What are you doing? Calm down. Okay. You're alright, Moomin. I did get a haircut and I did shave. I feel great. So, on the left side we got Moomin, double purity Veror, or double purity Flame Dawn, single purity Veror, command line Noble Protector, Aerial Commando, Veror Magic Siphoner. Starting hand, Flame Dawn Torchbearer, Aether Acolyte, Flame Dawn Doge, another Aerial Commando, Swift Strikes, and a Flame Dawn Doge out to the board. He did take us on an adventure. On Prozac's side, a little bit of a more mid-game hand. He's definitely got the AoE control build going on with T-Bot, the Mad Monk, Zun Shen, the Rallying General, Steadfast Protector, Yuan-Shi's Wrath, Infected Monk, and a Gather Thoughts. Veror Death Worshipper in the command line. He's obviously going to let that sit there for quite a while. So we're going to take a look at Moominpeter's side of the board. Puts out his Aerial Commando into the assault line, and Flame Dawn Doge is just going to sit in support. As you can see, he's got the Ascension pre-order deck effect going on. Pretty sweet looking. While Prozac had deck effect going on. We'll switch back to that. You can see that right there. Aerial Commando just swings for 8. Prozac is going to have plenty of AoE to deal with the kind of rush that Moominpeter is going to do. Prozac has already played Mark of the Demon on Noble Protector. So Noble Protector will get taken out by any form of AoE. We already know Prozac already has Yuan-Shi's Wrath in his hand. So going to be interesting to see if Moominpeter is going to be able to get past the AoE phase of Prozac's deck. So Gather Thoughts goes off. Prozac is just going to get some cards back in his deck, keep drawing some out, and we'll move into the next round. So Moominpeter has 2 Aerial Commandos out on the board. Going to put his Veror Magic Siphoner out there. He's got a Torchbearer and a Flame Dawn Doge. Let's see what Prozac's up to. Was Moomin's avatar from an old pre-order? No, Moominpeter's avatar was actually a Kickstarter avatar. So. Yes, should still be live. I want to say for like another 30 minutes. So, Prozac is just focusing on trying to control the board. Does a little bit of poke damage to Moomin. Prozac's already down to 74. Prozac has a T-Bot, Yuan-Shi's, and Winds of War in his hand. With Noble Protector covering that side of the board, if Moomin's smart with his Noble Protector positioning, Prozac's not going to be able to do anything. Noble Protector is just going to shut this deck down completely if it continues to remain alive and positioned with the most important cards. Let's take a look at Moomin's board and see what he's going to do with that Noble Protector. Flame Dawn Doge, 2 Flame Dawn Doges, a Torchbearer, a Siphoner, his 2 Aerial Commandos, and Noble Protector in the back. So Moominpeter is doing a great job of protecting this Noble Protector. Flashbang is completely wasted there. Good thought, though. Good thought. If he had positioned his cards a little better, Steadfast Protector would have only taken 2. That said, Prozac is now down to 48.95. Moominpeter is at 66.88. Although this might look as if Moominpeter might have the upper hand, Prozac and Moominpeter are actually equal. Moominpeter has a decent control hand, Lightning Blast, Word of Command, and Death Ray. The Swift Strikes can be used with Aerial Commando to finish off Prozac if absolutely necessary. That said, let's take a look at Prozac's hand. 2 Zunshens, a Demonize, 2 Winds of War, and he's playing Yuanshi's Wrath. So, and he's undone everything. That's going to be a difficult thing, having to trying to shoutcast this game with undo. Like, it's just, I'm going to have to go back through every single thing that was done. My brain. So let's switch back to Moominpeter. So he's got his 2 Aerial Commandos out. He's played an Aether Acolyte from his hand, and he's kept Noble Protector with the Varroa Magic Siphoner. He wants to make sure that thing is alive. Switch back to Prozac, and we're taking a look at an Infected Assault Zone. Aw, look at him activating that ordered deck effect for us. How kind of you, Prozac. Thank you. Thank you. It was very nice. So he's going to play T-Bot. T-Bot takes out the Noble Protector. That's harsh. That's harsh. At this point, Moominpeter does not have any protection from the numerous control mechanisms that Prozac has available to him. That Varroa Death Worshipper is getting up really high. It is now a 12-12, and is only going to continue getting bigger. So he's got 1 Aerial Commando left. Let's take a look at Moominpeter's board. He's played 2 Varroa Magic Siphoners and a Torchbearer. He still has access to that Lightning Blast, still has access to that Word of Command, Death Ray combo. He's going to play Lightning Blast on the Infected Devil and undoes it, and I'm going to have to... My brain's going to explode from all the undone plays. So Moominpeter's sitting there with 2 Varroa Magic Siphoners, a Torchbearer, and is trying to attack with the Aerial Commando. Let's take a look at Prozac's side when this goes through. Varroa Death Worshipper sitting in the Assault Zone. Mark of the Demon goes off on Aerial Commando. Yuanshi's Wrath blows it up and takes the Torchbearer with it. Moominpeter has 3 Magic Siphoners that are now down to 2-2, and Aether Acolyte at 5-1. He can play Zunshen, and he's going to put the Winds of War that's going to reduce it to 2 damage. Or is it round up? Is it 3 damage? We're going to go with one of those. So let's take a look at Moominpeter's board here. So we've got 3 Varroa Magic Siphoners, an Aether Acolyte. He's played pretty much everything in his hand. Lightning Blast, Stumble, Death Ray, and Swift Strikes. I can only imagine the Death Ray is going to go off on the Death Worshipper. Let's see what happens here. Winds of War goes off and takes out Moominpeter's entire line. Death Ray goes off and takes out that massive 24-17 Death Worshipper. Stumble goes off on T-Bot. It did nothing. That was a big trade for both sides. Both sides lost something heavily. But... Really? Good job, Helios. Good job, Helios. So this was a big trade for both sides. Both sides lost heavily, but Prozac came out ahead on that. Moominpeter, with only a few cards left in his hand, doesn't have much to combat this. It looks like Game 1 is going to go over to Prozac. Let's see if Moominpeter is going to be able to pull anything out. Doesn't look like it. Just the Commando, Lightning Blast, Torchbearer, Word of Command, and Swift Strikes in the hand. Not going to be able to do too much. Moominpeter down to 1250. Prozac still at 3790. Let's take a look at Prozac's board here. Yeah, this is pretty much GG for Game 1 between Moominpeter and Prozac. Moominpeter played very well in this match. Could have done a little better with positioning, but in terms of actually playing out this match, Prozac just got to his win condition faster. So this will put Moominpeter down to 6. Heatwave goes off, takes out the Commando. and Moominpeter will take out the second life, or the first life of that infected monk that was down to 6-1. So Prozac now has 2 splats, another T-Bot, a Zun Shen Kidnapper, Winds of War, and Heatwave. This is definitely looking in strong favor of Prozac. Let's take a look at Moominpeter's board again. Aether Acolyte, not going to help him. Word of Command, Swift Strike still in hand. Exhaust has been played. I can only imagine it's going to go out on Zun Shen. Yep, does go out on Zun Shen. Heatwave will take out the only remaining defender he had in that Torchbearer. That's going to be GG for game 1 between Prozac and Moominpeter. Good game both. Prozac ended that match with 34-84. Let's see if there's a sideboard that Moominpeter can do to help himself out here. Fleeting Footman, Hubris the Strong, Heatwave, Winds of War, Flashbang, Recycle, and Word of Command. Let's take a look at Prozac's. Ringbal's Will, Repair, Grave Rob, and Assassinate. So he's taking out some recycles. Didn't use too many of them in that match. I imagine that's his reasoning in doing that. He did not beat Moominpeter on morale. He beat him on health. So if he switches to a morale strategy here... excuse me. That was awkward. Should be interesting if he tries to switch to a morale strategy. He's taken out one of his death rays. Looks like he's just trying to focus more on the AoE fashion, given that his opponent, Moominpeter, is playing with that two Flamed On playstyle. Looks like we're just about done in the sideboarding phase. Prozac still focusing on the heavy AoE rather than trying to focus on removal. I imagine that's because Moominpeter doesn't have very many big hitters. Moominpeter is trying to get through to your fortress as quickly as he can before that AoE is able to take effect. We're gonna switch back to here really quickly. Take a look at if there's any results from the match. There we go. Let's take a look at Moominpeter's side of the board first. Baron Moominpeter. Alrighty. We are in game 2. Moominpeter's opening hand, Siphon Structure, Stumble, Aether Acolyte, Flamed On Doge, and Death Ray. Prozac's opening hand, Mark of the Demon, Splat, Infected Devil, Spontaneous Combustion, and Zun Shen. Looks like Prozac has a really good starting hand for his strategy. Over to Moominpeter, I don't like the Aether Acolyte in this deck. His deck is more focused on trying to get through to the backline. His characters are very cheap, his resource curve is low. The Aether Acolyte is going to take a long time to build up, and against Prozac's deck, Moominpeter doesn't have that kind of time. So he's in kind of an unfortunate position. He does have the Death Ray and the Stumble already in his hand, so he's got a little bit of a wait and see game going on, but Prozac drew a godly starting hand. An absolutely godly starting hand. Just a scary situation for that kind of an AoE deck to be in. So let's take a look at Prozac's side. He's going to be playing... Oh, he didn't play that Undo is going to murder me. So he just pulls out Infected... See? This Undo is going to murder me. Infected Devil does go out to the Assault Zone, and it does go through to the Fortress. So just a little bit of poke for both sides. So Prozac at 93, Moomin at 92. Not going to do too much, not going to mean too much. But if we take a look at Moomin's side of the board, he's already got his Noble Protector out. And Spontaneous Combustion only did 2 damage to Noble Protector. with the amount of cards that Moomin already has on the board. So that's a spontaneous combustion down for Prozac. He still has Mark of the Demon, Splat, Yuan-Shi's Wrath, and another Winds of War available to him. So we'll see if that's going to be able to do anything for him. Let's switch over to Prozac's side of the board. So Infected Devil still sitting in Assault. So he's going to Mark of the Demon, the Noble Protector. Excuse me. So he's going to Mark of the Demon, the Noble Protector, and that's going to give it a -4/-4 stat buff, effectively killing the Noble Protector. And he undoes it. Of course he undoes it. Why am I even shoutcasting the planning phase? I'm going to hurt myself trying to shoutcast the planning phase. So he puts his Infected Monk and Infected Devil over in defense. Those Magic Siphoners are huge. That's 36 to Prozac's face, and he's down to 57. The unfortunate thing for Moominpeter now is that he no longer has access to Noble Protector. That's going to be really unfortunate. Noble Protector is the counter to Prozac's deck, and without Noble Protector, Moominpeter is very much so wide open. So it looks like Prozac is just going to play a little bit of a defense game and let his Infected Monk poke Moominpeter down. Let's check out Moomin's board. 2 Siphon Structures, a Torchbearer, Flamed-On Doge, and a Death Ray. If Prozac goes for AoE here, the Siphoners only have 6 health. Aether Acolyte and Flamed-On Hound would die very easily. Death Ray goes out onto Infected Monk. Obviously couldn't target the Steadfast Protector due to Vigilance, that's unfortunate. Varroa Magic Siphoner will take out the Infected Devil, and then the Sleeper of Avarak. That Infected Devil took out 2 Varroa Magic Siphoners by itself via its ability. That Infected Devil for Prozac putting in a lot of work. Let's switch back over to Prozac's side of the board here. Plays out another Devil and another Infected Monk. Still has 2 Zunshens, a Splat, a Mark of the Demon, Yuan-Shi's Wrath, and a Winds of War available to him. Prozac is looking to be in a really good position here. So Moominpeter plays out 3 Flamed-On Torchbearers, 2, he already had 1 in support. Prozac top decks another Splat. That's pretty much going to put Moominpeter in an incredibly unfortunate position. All of those Torchbearers are going to go down. Looks like the Aerial Commando is going to go down with them. Yep, that takes care of that. Prozac is in an incredibly advantageous position right now. Let's take a look at what Moominpeter has in his hand to counteract that. Nothing. 2 Siphon Structures, a Death Ray, a Magic Siphoner, and a Burning Prejudice. He pays 5 to draw from the deck and draws out a Word of Command. Word of Command and Death Ray will help him a little bit, but the AoE that Prozac just dealt with Mark of the Demon and Yuan-Shi's Wrath to Moominpeter was extremely painful. So Moominpeter has a decent hand right now. Unfortunately, he has to find a way to get those last 44 points off of Prozac's health bar. A Varroa Magic Siphoner combo might do it. So what I'm talking about there is if you play Varroa Magic Siphoner, Word of Command out to Assault, and then Flashbang and 2 Siphon Structures, that might do it. I don't know if he's going to go for that, but he can if he wants to. Let's take a look at Prozac's side of the board. Zunshen, Infected Monk, Infected Devil, and Steadfast Protector. Prozac's Death Ray, Moomin's Death Ray hits Prozac's Zunshen, Rallying General. Prozac top decks a Gather Thoughts. Good for him. He'll be able to get a couple of good cards back in his deck. He's played out some really strong cards so far. Prozac's going to play out a T-Bot, the Mad Monk, and pay 5 to draw out from his deck, and he'll get a Repair for that. What's he going to do with these extra 5? He does not really need to repair here. But let's see if Moomin's going to be able to pull off a Siphoner combo. He does. He does, Gooby. He has the win in his hand. Let's see if Moomin is going to do anything about it. He dodges the Mad Monk. He was originally going to play the Siphoner combo, and he undid that turn, so he pulled his Magic Siphoner back, and now he's going to do the Siphoner combo. So he plays out Siphoner, he Word of Commands it out to Assault. Let's see what else he's going to be able to do. He's going to stumble the Steadfast Protector. Are you going to Flashbang? Is he going to be able to pull it off? He's going to exhaust something? What are you going to do? I would Flashbang here. I would Flashbang that T-Bot. Without question. And then, you had 2 Siphoners. You had 2 Siphon Structures. Let's see if that's going to be enough. Okay, so he exhausted the Infected Devil. That's not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough. So Prozac is now at 25. Moominpeter is now at 24. This is a really interesting position. Moominpeter still has a Hubris of the Strong and a Flashbang and 2 Siphon Structures available to him. Let's see what Prozac's got going for him. He's got a Glorious Warrior, Varroa Kidnapper, Winds of War, Heatwave 2 splats, and a Dehumanize. Or a Demonize, rather. Varroa Kidnapper would destroy this. All he has to do is kidnap the Siphoner, and that's GG. That single Siphoner is all Moominpeter has to win right now. That would be my guess, Shimra, but he still has to find a way to deal that last 5 damage without losing. And I don't think he's going to be able to. So let's take a look at what Moomin's doing here. He's Hubrised, and he's considering a Flashbang onto the Glorious Warrior. And then a Lightning Blast onto... What do you got? What are you going to do here? If you're going to play those, are you going to put your Siphoner out? Yeah, he has to believe in the heart of the cards. He has to. I believe in the heart of the cards. I've always believed in the heart of the cards. So he's going to play out a single Siphon Structure. Okay, and Prozac does kidnap the Siphoner. So it was good not going all in that turn. That was smart. Unfortunately, Moomin does not have double Purity Varroa, so he does not have access to Dark Blast in this deck. That would have been really harsh, but he does not have access to it. He has to find another win condition right now. So after this Siphon Structure, Prozac is going to be down to 3 health. He's going to have to find a way to deal that last 3 damage. I don't know if he's going to be able to. He doesn't have any characters in his hand, and all he has left are characters with charge. And those are all going to die very quickly as Steadfast Protector and T-Bot. There's an Aether Acolyte, so that's his only character. It's unlimited, Helios, so 3. Yeah, Torchbearer top deck. If he has another one. There's a Heat Wave that goes out, Hubris onto Glorious Warrior, Lightning Blast takes out the Infected Devil. Oh! Prozac had a lot more damage on the board than I thought. That's going to be GG. Prozac at 14 health. 14 health. Moominpeter decided to not play that Siphon Structure. That was an extremely close match. That could have gone either way in the late game. Moominpeter almost pulled that out. Extremely well played, both of you. And both of you should be very proud of that match.